Hi everybody, it's Michael Martin from Martin Chronicle. I'm really excited today. I've got famous Howard Lindzon from StockTwits. Look at him bobbing and weaving like Mike Tyson, the peekaboo style. Did you know Customato too?
I love boxing. You're a boxing fan, my man?
Oh my God. I watched Tyson in the 80s and watching him was just the most thrilling thing to see.
It was thrilling. We're scared for the other guy. You were scared for the other guy.
Well, Tyson's ethos was he wanted to go in and kill the guy. That was
So you
his
thought
ethos. He wanted to go in and really inflict pain. And boy, when he charged out of that corner, it was just like you could feel it. Those days you could just watch the fight on HBO. It wasn't any of this pay-per-view nonsense. And he would just cut through guys like a hot knife through butter. And I was like, dude, he is so Brownsville, Brooklyn. Like, it's unbelievable how he can channel that energy. Anyway, I'm here with Howard from StockTwits on the event of his book, which is a great new book. It's coming out, I think, Monday, right? The 4th?
Yeah. Comes out Monday. It took us about 8 months. I think that's record time. And Wiley just bought in. Wiley was just like, all right, Lindzon, if you think you can do that. And I've never seen, because I've done one other book and with good people at Hachette, and it's just, 2-year process.
Right.
This was a 3-person effort on the organization / creative side. Ivan, who's a young kid, called me with the idea. I said, if you want to organize it, we'll do it.
Right.
I wrote a chapter and intros to every chapter because we handpicked all the people. We forgot a few great people. We just couldn't get to everybody. Day Trend, to name just one. I mean, so many guys we just couldn't get to.
Right.
You've been around. So, well, hopefully we can create something that now is like a series of crowdsourced. StockTwits is about crowdsourcing ideas.
Yep.
And so hopefully we can do it again. Like, it's a lot of work, though. But Wiley made it very bearable, and now they're actually helping us. So it's fun.
Well, I'm going to help you, too. Not that you need it. It's out on Wiley. It's called the StockTwits Edge, 40 actionable trade setups from real market pros, like he said, with Avalio Ivanhoff and Philip Perlman, his longtime partner down there at StockTwits. Before we get to the book, I wanted to ask you about StockTwits, too, to kind of set up the community there. When did you have the first idea to launch, StockTwits? When did that light bulb go off?
The light bulb went off, I think during my first company, first company in this area was called Wallstrip,
right?
Which CBS bought.
Yep.
And it's a good question, so thanks for asking. And I'll try to do it quickly. And now my wife's listening into the Skype interview, so I can't lie.
Well, everyone needs a moderator and a chaperone, especially a guy with your sordid past. But go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. 15 years married. She's here, and she believes anything you say. So careful. And she reads Alley Insider religiously. Alley Insider has jumped the shark, or whatever you say it, when your wife who doesn't like computers goes there on her iPad through Tech Meme, hits Alley Insider. You kind of like crossed over when that happens.
I think there are bigger issues at play when she does that, though.
I know, but I'm one of the first investors, so I win either way there.
Win-win. It's like a free call option for you.
So when CBS bought Wallstrip was like the national anthem in my mind. Like, there wasn't, you watched a show, the idea was to watch a show anywhere on the web, and then we had nothing else. The show's over. Where are you going to go? You disperse. You go to your corners and go to your websites that you want to go out. So when CBS bought it, I said, guys, we've got this great national anthem for the stock market. It's like the opening bell, Lindsay. We've got to create this whole, what are they going to do the rest of the day there? And then Twitter was, had just come out. It was '07. And they were just starting to poke their head out in growth. And I said, we should do a Twitter for stocks. And CBS they bought Wallstrip for talent, Lindsay, myself, Adam and Jeff, like the whole video talent.
Yeah.
And so they weren't really interested in doing much more beyond that. And so I just sat with the idea, and before my contract expires, we kind of just CBS and I broke up and said, listen, I'm going to go do my thing. You release me. I don't know what I'm going to do, and I'll relieve you of paying me. And I emailed Fred Wilson. I said, Fred, I mean, Twitter should be really disrupting Bloomberg because you've got all this news breaking on Twitter. If Twitter just blocks Bloomberg, like a reverse, Twitter should just block Bloomberg from being able to access Twitter.
Yep.
And then every trader in the world will be going, wait a minute, Schmageggies in Wisconsin
Yep.
are getting news before we do, and we're paying $2,000 a month.
And we got to lock into a 2-year contract.
And we got to lock into it. So I said, this is going to make Bloomberg shiver in their boots. Anyways, Fred agreed with me basically and said, but you know, the DNA of Twitter isn't such that you should go start it yourself. And I said, well, I don't really want to start another company. But that's really what happened. And we finally just got fed up with the way Twitter was doing it, and we just did it ourselves.
Now, would you characterize yourself as an active Twitter user at that point, or were you just kind of familiar with the interface and the platform and kind of, like me, intrigued about it, but not?
Yeah, I didn't understand because nobody was using it well. So not to brag, I didn't find anybody, including Fred Wilson, who really isn't, to me, the best tweeter, and nor is, to me, ever Biz, right? Like, I think they love their product. Who wouldn't? It's the best product, one of the best products ever created by Jack. But nobody there wasn't nobody making me laugh.
Right.
So when I started out to say I'm going to the bathroom here, and I just took a poop over here, and Fred thought that was like the funniest thing. And I was just humoring myself. I wasn't doing it for anybody else. And all of a sudden I got 500 pretty highly influential people following me and asking me where I'm going to the bathroom next. It was kind of like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Right.
And I said, Fred, this is dumb. Like, I got bored of doing that, obviously, and I didn't know what else to say. So I started talking about stocks. And that's when it kind of hit me and said, because obviously I didn't get it, because Fred had offered me a piece of his first investment in Twitter. And it was under a $20 million valuation. And I was saying, well, Fred, I'm very busy twittering while I go to the bathroom.
Yep.
I don't want any of that stock at $20 million valuation. And so, unfortunately, I stupidly passed on that round. Now, an interesting story about that is the next person Fred called after I turned down my investment, nobody knows this, is Jeff Pulver.
Okay.
Who invested and now has made a ton of money. And every time Jeff sees me, he runs up and gives me a hug. That's a little known fact.
Well, you're a huggable guy.
He's a great guy. Jeff is a great guy. And it's nice of him to, like, remember that. Like, Jeff, Jeff is just he's been up and down his whole life. Like, he doesn't think about money as like other people do. Jeff's just a brilliant social guy.
Right.
And so good for him. He just said yes. And those type of deals, I've learned, if the right people are in it and the product's good, you can't think about the price. You know, it's like
right.
People thinking about Netflix at 80 going, oh my God, it doubled.
Right.
No, that was the time to buy it. So,
yeah, Netflix. There was a time when Netflix was trading at who knows what, $20 a share, but coincidentally the short interest was 7 out of 8 shares were sold short. And I said, if they come in even a half a penny better than expected, the shorts are going to bleed out of their eyes. That was probably the only time I was actually ever involved in that stock, was to capture that big $8 pop. It was pretty much a gamble, but so anyway, StockTwits is more than just tips. It's a community of people. So if you eavesdrop, even if you don't really participate or run queries or searches, you can see that there's a lot of sharing going on that go far beyond, like, I like the mini S&Ps at this level, and these are where my stops are. It seems like they're sharing like from an emotional and a spiritual standpoint with one another as well. Did you have any idea that it would become this medium for people to share the way they share, like a men's group almost?
Yeah, because that's the way I live my life. I overshare. So, and you know, my partner here next to me would say, I can't believe you said that. So I think Twitter's become the place where it's, I think the best people that use it are they're not necessarily comedians. The people that use it the best are people that are honest. Okay, you can't lie. Like I say, you can't lie on Twitter.
Yep.
You can lie for an hour, you can lie for maybe a day, but your soul eventually, if you use this product, you cannot hide who you are. If you're an angry person, that'll show up on Twitter. If you are a racist, that will show itself up on Twitter. The only good, to me, 90% of the best people that use Twitter are on StockTwits because they're a mentoring. They are writing it as a journal. The best traders write stuff down. You did the best traders will all say. There's one thing, they all have a different style. The best traders all say they got better when they started writing it down and tracking it. Okay? And if you lie to yourself, you're not going to write it down. So microblogging is the easiest form of journal. What StockTwits is then just that piece of blank paper. And, you know, like it's quite obvious in social media, 1% of people contribute. So we're never going to get everybody to leave a tweet because, and I understand why, they know nobody's going to read it. But I would urge people to just do it because no one's going to read it. The fact that you know that no one's going to read it is the reason you should do it. That way you don't have to worry and you can keep yourself accountable on the timeline of what you felt, how you felt, what you did based on how you felt. So I think the people on StockTwits that are using it are so far ahead financially 10 years out than everybody else. So we're going to lose thousands of people that just get bored of it because they have made so much money over the next 10 years from learning from other people. And they're just going to go and I think that's where, in the right verticals, where Twitter ends up is going to have to be verticals. Mm-hmm. If you look at web video, Khan Academy is making all the money. So right. Google's crowdsourcing all the attention, but this Khan Academy is the first one to come along, which is teaching lessons.
Yep.
He's an MIT guy who dropped out of the hedge fund world, and he's created hundreds and hundreds of small, simple lessons for kids. I mean, it is changing lives, this guy. And so again, I think what Twitter really is, the money in Twitter is going to be in the verticals. Is going to be in the verticals.
Well, it's a great thing to write something down. I know personally, I will share with you two things. If I have any fears or inhibitions, the minute I can say to you, Howard, I feel scared about this crop report in corn, I own it. It doesn't own me anymore. And that's a very powerful thing for a trader to be able to do, is to address his or her feelings. Because you might agree, I kind of get the feeling that the stock market and the commodity futures market is basically there to provide you a medium to make money. However, if you and I don't want to get into my book, but if you don't know who you are from a self-awareness standpoint, the market will absolutely amplify your worst character defect in about, within a very short order.
The only thing other than the market that I can relate to is the Dead Sea in Israel. If you cut yourself shaving and don't know it and walk into the Dead Sea, you will realize you have a cut on your body. So the market will seek out, the salt will find that wound. And if you go to the market and don't have a grasp of your inner, if you don't know who you are, the market will tell you very quickly.
And that is a very humbling place to be. Now, I got to ask you this. There are, Justin Timberlake just stepped up to kind of revitalize MySpace. LinkedIn's public. Facebook's out there. I just watched your TV spot, which was very, very funny, and you're a cool cat. You got a new Android app. Are you guys readying yourself for an IPO or a sale or anything like that?
No, I think we're, obviously when we started the company, I thought Twitter should buy. Two people at the company, Soren and I was like, what the hell are they thinking?
Right.
So for sure, I have a reputation for flipping businesses, and I'll be the first to tell you I don't want to run people. I'm a terrible manager.
Right.
I feel like I have a good vision around where this financial industry is, and it stems from, I think, Jim Cramer, who created the whole social space.
Yep.
I think our advantage at StockTwits is, and to explain in a nutshell, Jim Cramer is still about lightning rod. It's about attention for Jim Cramer, and so that's like the old model. That's Yahoo. That's like the model of get everybody moths around the light. StockTwits is the opposite. StockTwits is like, yeah, I'm Howard Lindzon, but here's 40 other guys. Here's 100 other guys. Here's our suggested list. It's deflecting like Google does, sending you back out And that if you send people away, and they'll come back if they trust you. And so I think the new web is completely about curation and trust.
Right.
And as long as StockTwits doesn't become about one person, we will win. And I think it's impossible to beat StockTwits, the community, because it's more than one person. It's not one person.
And that makes it entirely democratic too. I was talking with John Carney at the Milken Global Conference this year from NetNet, John Carney at CNBC. And we were just talking and remarked how if the internet and social media smokes out the cockroaches faster than any kind of product out there. So if you have any air of inauthenticity, just like the stock market finding those wounds, like when you walk into the salty water of the Dead Sea. The same thing goes for people who are full of it or inauthentic. They get smoked out very, very quickly.
Yeah, like I said, it's your soul. I don't care if the fly, who's a good friend of mine and I know him, doesn't use his real name. And it's not because I know him that I put up with him. It's that he's just, I don't care what he looks like or how much he weighs,
right.
Or what his fetishes are, as long as he's honest about his timeline. And the timeline is also what makes Twitter and StockTwits unstoppable. Is I can go back and I can see what you said. You want to.
It's all a public record. Well, I want to share something with you, and I think that is one of the most powerful things. Is that when new traders come to the community and they basically are given these open arms that they can come in and share, or they can voyeuristically listen in on these conversations. That's real mentoring. That is abundance coming back. And I'm always a believer. One of the reasons I teach is because I feel like I'm one of the luckiest guys on the planet, and I'm compelled to share it with other people.
So the posers in the industry, and now they're starting to show up, think it's all about telling me how much you made on that idea. And so they're always going to get it wrong. They're saying, unless you tell me what you made, I don't believe you. And so they're missing the whole point of StockTwits, which is, I don't care what you made, because I don't want to know if you traded 100 shares. I want to know how you thought about it.
Yep.
Right? Hell doesn't care if you made $6,100 or $4,000. What did you say? When did you say it? I can make my own decisions, thank you. I have my own bank account. I just want to soak it all in ambiently. So Twitter and StockTwits are all about ambient knowledge. If you sit in StockTwits long enough, you will get smarter, because you are hanging around a groupthink that is the smartest traders in the world, period, at the time. Tomorrow, it'll be a whole nother group of traders.
Yeah, and I think that brings a lot of integrity. We talk about integrity. Like when you have a timeline like that, it's a timestamp. It's like when you send the email, it's time-stamped. You can see all the IP addresses. And likewise, when you go live on StockTwits, it's not about what you make. In fact, I think you can teach more people by where you put your protective stops and how you handle your losses more. Who cares about what you make? Anyway, I want to segue.
I'm looking at Vader 7X right now, and he's tried shorting the S&P like 4 times today. I don't know. I haven't met him. I kind of know who he is, but I haven't met him. He's on our suggested stream, and he's taken like 4 losses today, all public, all on the stream. And he just said he's short S&P again, last try for the day. So here, and no one's going to beat him up and say he's a bad trader. He's getting support from the community. He's having a rough day. He's putting all his trades out there. Yep. He understands Twitter. It's not bragging about or StockTwits. It's not bragging about how many times he's been right. Okay, and that's my argument with John Nigeria and all these guys on TV is, how can you be right every day? That you're full of shit. Okay, and I'll call these guys out. If you're going to just come on TV smiling all the time, and I was right because the market was down, and I was right because the market was up, I don't believe you anymore. And those days are over.
Well, I've been there too. When I first met Ed Sakota, I was trying to buy soybeans, and I'd get in, I'd get knocked out. I'd get in and knocked out. Now, being part of the trading tribe, I will share with you, my account was down 25% in the first few months of being there. I was like, this isn't working out so well. So it's how you learn from those losses and your fortuitous, your fortuitive aspect, and how you come back and fight the next day. If you keep your losses small, you can come back and play. If you don't have any marbles, you're done. So let me just do this. I want to talk about the book.
Let's do it.
StockTwits Edge, 40 Actionable Trade Setups from Real Market Pros. My official line is this: is that you've got 3 days off now, where the market's going to be closed. You should get the book as soon as possible. I don't know if it's out until Monday, but
no, it's shipping. It's shipping.
It's shipping. So you can. What I like about the book is this: is that so a lot of guys will tell you, like Howard said, about how well they did, and where they are in their careers, and that you should buy their products. But what I like about this book is that anyone who has a system or a model, whether they're mechanical systems or whether they are like my style, which now is ultimately pure discretion, they put their rake, what I call their rake or their system. How do they break down the trades? What are they looking for? What criteria have to be met so that you can test it yourself? And that puts them in a very vulnerable spot. So you learn why and how they can employ the tactics that they do. And it reminds me that a trader's style is as unique as his fingerprint. So you can get the turtle rules. You can get Warren Buffett's value methodology. You can get a whole bunch of ways to try to find what would be on your daily list. But here you have 40 guys. You got Bella, Spence, and G-Man, G-Mush, Mushy Man from SMB. You got Fundora, Derek Hernquist, Quinn Tatro. You got Brian Shannon. You got Howard. You got 40 different guys who are going through how they do, what their setups and what they look for, and they're actionable. But it's also got the humility of their mistakes and what they had to go through, what I refer to as their emotional hazing, which I think is as important as anything you can learn from a technical standpoint. I
think the most important thing about the book, though, too, is that this is an introduction to the people. I think that these people will be around on social.
Yep.
So I'm making a bet with Ivan and Phil that these 46 guys, and obviously we missed a lot of guys. It could be 200 guys that have written chapters for this book that I trust, and that's just 2 years in.
Yep.
We believe that these people will stay somewhere in social media. So if you've never been in social media, this is a chance for you to read, see what these guys are like,
yep.
and then you can go talk to them the very next day on StockTwits and say hello, and now you're like trading with them every day. That's crazy.
Well, I want to read. You got a bunch of folks here who have given you praise for the back of the book. For those not familiar with books, these are called dust jacket endorsements. And Barry Ritholtz says, Howard Lindzon has tapped into a unique talent pool. He has crowdsourced the task of figuring out who the up-and-coming traders and fund managers are via social media. Unearthing the next Stevie Cohen via social leveraging is a fascinating concept. Kudos to Lindzon for figuring this out long before most of Wall Street even knew what the hell Twitter was. Barry Ritholtz from, of course, Fusion IQ and author of Bailout Nation. And there's a couple of others as well. I think that's a brilliant strategy because you're kind of helping them. You're almost, my take on that is, if they're out there in the social media, there's a lot of goods and services they can provide in terms of teaching, and many of them do, but you're almost acting as their agent by curating their careers on some level because you have you have 200, what are you, 250,000 followers on Twitter yourself, or some crazy number. You're like the Justin Bieber of Twitter, dude.
No, well, I think the reason I think StockTwits has such a big advantage, as long as like Phil and I and Ivan and our team curates properly, is people trust StockTwits. So when StockTwits says Martin's a great trader, when StockTwits says Brian Shannon's a great trader, we trust him. He may not get 10,000 followers, but he's going to get 500 people that are following for the right reasons.
Right.
They're not following Brian Shannon because I linked to him for cooking advice, which would mean nothing.
Right.
They know that Brian talks about stocks all day, every day. And so we're sending people vital. We're basically American Idol for finance. And you know how long American Idols run? I mean, 12 years. So as long as you continue to discover new talent and give everybody an even playing field, I think you can build a great platform.
So when we first started speaking today, you said Wiley bought in right away. I don't see how they couldn't. But I want to go back a month or two before that. When did it occur to you that you should memorialize these traders and their thoughts into a book?
I was driving on the freeway, and my phone rang from, and it was Ivan, who is a big user of our site, and he pitched me the idea, and I said, all right, let's do the book. So I called around and we wrote up a couple pagers and Wiley signed off on it. We negotiated a deal with Wiley, and that's how it came about.
Well, kudos to him. It was a great idea, and I think it served the community very, very well because there's a lot that can be learned. Two more questions. I think one of the biggest takeaways from the book is that trading is not one size fits all. Each of these traders didn't just start and kick butt from the very first. Some of them did, but a lot of them had to go through several iterations to get into the zone. How important is that for a new trader to kind of understand that they're gonna flip and flop as they get, as they cut their teeth?
You can't, no matter how much we speed it up at StockTwits, and we speed it up, man. I mean, we're talking Mach 2, learn how to invest.
Mm-hmm.
If you think you can just become good overnight, you're going to lose a lot of money. And that's fine, too, because that's how you learn. I've had my ass handed to me countless times. So I think
Me too.
A lot of it is like golf. Every time, I don't play anymore, so I have no bad habits.
Wait a minute. You said you shot a 74 the other day.
79, but
79.
Because I don't play anymore, I have no expectations when I go at the course. The technology is fantastic. So golf is a lot like trading. Technology is amazing. So even if you don't do it a lot, if you've learned how to trade and you get back in front of your machines and you're looking for your setups, nothing changes. Same with golf. If your routine is good and the technology is good and your head is clear, because golf is 90% mental, I can go out and shoot a 79. Now, if I went out pressing myself that I got to break 80 today to impress my friends, there'd be no way. But going out saying it's a great day, my clubs are the best, I have the best clubs, I know how to play this game, and Serenity now, just like you would say, I can shoot 79. I didn't go out to shoot 79. I would have been happy with 85.
Right.
Now, and to be honest, I was 3 over par after 14, and then I started grinding, thinking, wow, I'm a good player, and I had like 2 double bogeys. So,
right.
But the same thing with trading. I think you have to put in the time. There's no way that you can go out and do this. You got to have a great routine. It has to happen over many years, and there's no rush. Doesn't mean you shouldn't use StockTwits and get faster at it.
Right.
But there's no way to rush it.
Well, that's true. I mean, StockTwits can help you with the economics of it. You will lose money if that's your tuition, and
Yep.
it's going to take you some time to do that. I think, StockTwits can help people economize their time and their money. I'm reminded that whether you agree with him or not, Malcolm Gladwell's of the mindset that it takes you 10,000 hours to get to expert level. So where you going in a week or two or a month? You're not going to read Market Wizards and become Paul Tudor Jones. It's going to take you some time.
Well, I say the same thing for entrepreneurs. I say, when they talk, these 20-year-old kids starting companies, we're about to come to the end of that. And not that they shouldn't continue to start companies, but they have no domain expertise, no matter how much mentoring they get, and no matter if their investors are Mark Andreessen, Fred Wilson, and that does not make you successful. Just like if you sign up for Upside Trader and Alpha Trends and Todd Sullivan, you're going to start making money the next day. No, you're going to go through hardships. And the only thing that makes a great entrepreneur is domain expertise, which is time,
Yep.
right? My advantage at StockTwits, I'm not an overnight success here. I've run a hedge fund for 13 years. I've had my ass handed to me, partners steal, you name it, I've seen it. Markets crash, bubbles, the lies, insider trading. You can't fool me anymore. I'm not a full skeptic, but I also have seen everything.
Yeah.
And same thing with entrepreneurs. All these 20-year-old entrepreneurs, they haven't had hardship for 6 months where their metrics go sideways or the press is bad or one of their users is a freak. So I think, I tell the same thing to entrepreneurs as we would tell traders is like, you need domain expertise. That 10,000 hours, you think, just because you think the internet's cool, it does not guarantee your success. You've got to go build an expertise in one area and continue to do this for months, for years and years and years. So as an investor, I like investing in entrepreneurs in their third business. I don't like backing 20-year-old kids.
Right. No, that's a good point. Because it's what they don't know that's going to put them out of business. And if they're reckless with...
Yeah, well, tell me how tough you are when you go 6 months and your board's yelling at you and you can't teach that to someone. Just like no matter how good your mentors are on trading, you're going to go do one trade off on your own, and it's going to go against you, and no one's going to be able to help you except you and the price.
That's right. Price tells you everything you need to know. You know, price tells you the truth, no matter what. Folks, I will say this about the book. I read, all I do is read, and if you look behind me, you can see a short list of books over there, and that's not on my Kindle. This is a book that I want to recommend that you actually get the hardcover. Why? Because it's a reference book. I have found that if you have an iPad or a Kindle, I'm a Kindle man myself, that they're good. Obviously, you can read on them. However, I think this is a great book to have in your hands because it's a book that you're going to refer to a lot. It's a reference book, and I see you going back and forth. As a teacher myself, I see you going back and forth. I mean, there's so much stuff in here. There's charts you have to see. I mean, yeah. Look at that. In all due respect, I haven't seen an application or a device, a piece of hardware that can really exemplify that kind of stuff very, very cleanly. And I think if you're trying to go back and forth and see the graphs and the charts and the heuristics and then follow the text, you're going to be frustrated. And if you're frustrated, chances are you might want to put the book down in frustration, and that would be to your detriment. So go get the hardcover and keep it close to you so that you can refer back to it like a reference book.
Well, I appreciate it. So thanks for doing this for me.
Yeah, happy 4th of July. Thank you for taking time out on a Friday.